Cameron Bradshaw, podcast questions. What is the difference between A-kit suspension and factory teams suspension? Another great question. Dave, what would
Yeah.
you say to that?
I'd say it's the makeup and components on the inside of the suspension. So like A kit, a lot of people, if you're ever lucky enough to get A kit because it's pretty pricey, it's really good. AJ can attest to this. The amount of like customization that you have for the individual rider, the bike, the discipline you're doing, it's phenomenal. They're using very good setup of shim stacks. They're using the best oils that don't break down or degrade as quickly. The orifices inside of a lot of those chambers, they're machined. They're sometimes bigger to flow more depending on the discipline. Oftentimes, usually you're going to see them a little bit smaller so that they can hold up for a lot of bottoming resistance for these faster guys. So there's a lot of good stuff. Now, factory suspension, it's that on steroids. They are looking at exotic metals that have different flex capabilities to allow the fluid that is a special fluid to flow differently based on position of stroke and all this other stuff. So it's almost like, yeah, I've got this really cool Porsche that I get a chance to drive versus, oh, I got this really cool Porsche that I get to drive, but now this Le Mans team is going to take it and make it this incredible fire breathing dragon. That's essentially what it is. So you might see what do you pay for a kit suspension, AJ? It's 15, 20?
Oh, I don't know. I've
Yeah.
thankfully never paid in full for A-kit suspension. I don't know when, honestly. I've probably ridden with it on my bikes before, and I don't know
Yeah.
which ones did or did not have it.
Yeah.
I would guess 10 to 20,
Yeah, that's kind of
right?
like what I'm thinking.
For
Whereas
front and rear,
yeah,
10 to 20.
factory. If you add in all the R&D hours and all of the labor, you're looking in that's six figures when it comes
Yeah.
down to it. When you're adding in all of that extra research and development for that specific rider, guarantee you, right now, Tomac suspension easily six figures and all of the development time they have into that thing. So that is the difference is the amount of scrutiny and time and exotic trickery that they have on the inside. I mean, some of the guys that really build this stuff, they look at the friction that's caused from the fork seals and they can feel they can justify the difference in their data. So that's one thing that and I tested with Showa for a number of years designing suspension, and they were like, yeah, in order for us to be able to do this stuff for you guys and provide this service, we have to be able to hop on the bike and feel the difference in fork seals, which I don't know how you even begin to train your butt to feel differences in fork seals and how like the friction coefficient is different. But that's the level of scrutiny they put behind the suspension. So it's again, that Porsche analogy is probably the best that I can equate that to is they've got so much focus on that.
I wish that the day I rode Jet and Hunter's bike that we were allowed to film it, because that would have been a great video, hopping off of my practice Honda 250 and hopping onto
Mm,
their practice bikes with their
mhm.
full setup.
Yeah.
My suspension, I wouldn't consider it wasn't bad, you know, for the
Mm,
normal person, it was probably pretty darn good. And
yeah.
then hopping onto to the to the Lawrence's bike, insane.
Yeah.
Insane. I mean, in
Yep.
one lap, I was telling this story just recently. The very first lap that I hopped on the bike, I'm pretty sure I was faster than I was on my bike. And I was just like doing
Mm.
a sight lap. And it was the traction I would get and the whoops and how much holdup it had, but yet how much traction it had at the same
Yeah.
time. And it didn't feel stiff, even though it was
Mm.
um, like nothing I've ever felt. I
That's
mean,
incredible.
like nothing I've ever felt. It honestly is a little annoying.
This isn't fair. I want that stuff. You know what's funny? My bike broke one day. This is back when we were racing NEMA still, and my first year in big bikes. Or sorry, my first year in four strokes, and I was just getting my butt kicked like left and right. I was super tiny, believe it or not, on this like 250F, and it just was not working. Ended up crashing. Pipe got bent, and I borrowed my buddy's bike, who he had a full PC sweep. He had PC suspension, PC linkage, PC motor. Um, and I rode that in like an LCQ or something. Oh, dude, I was flying. I was like, wait, is this how dirt bikes are supposed to feel? Like and that wasn't even like a kit that wasn't even like nowhere near factory level. Just some PC trickery and like having them do the suspension. And man, this is a feeling. So there are levels to this. I guarantee for people out there that are just riding their bike
Yeah.
as they got it from the showroom. If you send your suspension out to get the very basic setup that is right for you, you would not believe how much more confident and how much more fun and how much more intuitive your riding becomes. It really is a night and day difference.
If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, you can do so on Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to send in your own video submission, you can join us in the Moto Academy family inside of the Moto Academy app by just going to themotoacademy.com. That's also where you can sign up for a class. Okay, guys, see you next episode.